I have decided to make the difficult decision to cancel both my American Express Gold Card and my Chase Sapphire Preferred, which up to this point have been two of my favorite credit cards. I know this might come as a surprise to a lot of you, but I've just realized there are a lot of negatives on these two credit cards. And so in this video, I'm going to go over all of the negative reasons for why I decided to cancel both my AMEX Gold Card and my Chase Sapphire Preferred. All I ask from you is that you stay until the end of this video because I think a lot of the things that I'm going to discuss are going to shock you and make you consider canceling your American Express Gold Card or Chase Sapphire Preferred as well. Alright, if we hop right into the video, the first negative on both the Sapphire Preferred and AMEX Gold Card is that it can be difficult to use the credits. If we start with the Sapphire Preferred, you are going to get a $50 hotel credit that can lower your effective fee down from $95 to just $45 if you're able to get the full value from this credit. I do think this credit is going to be a lot more difficult to use than it seems on the surface, because in order to get that credit, you are going to need to book that hotel through the Chase travel portal. And when you book a hotel through a travel portal, such as with Chase, then you typically don't keep the status of your hotel loyalty program. So if you had something like Hilton Diamond status, then booking a hotel through the Chase travel portal instead of booking directly with Hilton could actually make you lose a lot of added value. Plus, a lot of people have other travel credits that they need to use, especially if you have a card like the Capital One Venture X or Chase Sapphire Reserve. And with some of the travel credits, so for example, like the travel credit on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you can actually use that credit for any travel purchases. You aren't restricted to having to book through a travel portal. So if you are someone that has credit cards with other travel credits as well, then you might find it difficult to utilize every single one of those travel credits, and the restrictive nature of the credit on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, where you have to use the Chase travel portal, probably makes it one of the last credits that you'll actually use. With the American Express Gold Card, you are going to get two credits, which are going to be a $120 dining credit and then a $120 Uber credit. So if you were able to get the maximum value from those two credits, then you'd get a total value of $240. So you could lower your effective fee on the AMEX Gold Card down from $250 down to just $10. But I want to dive into those credits a little bit further, because if we start with that $120 dining credit, you're actually going to get that credit in the form of $10 monthly increments that can be used at places like Grubhub, the Cheesecake Factory, Shake Shack, and then some other places as well. Grubhub is probably going to be the most feasible use of this credit, since not everyone lives near some of those restaurants, but also depending on where you live, you might not even have Grubhub as an available delivery service. Plus, what I see from a lot of people is that they are able to use that dining credit for something like Grubhub, but before they got the AMEX Gold Card, they never really spent any money on food delivery services. So then this credit is not really lowering your effective fee, because you never want to use a credit card as an excuse to spend more money. For the $120 Uber credit, this is the same type of scenario. So you're going to get that $120 credit in the form of $10 monthly increments, and most people will probably use that credit for Uber Eats, but a lot of people don't eat out very often. So for some people, both of these credits are basically spurring you to spend more money with food delivery services, which is overall making you spend more money than you otherwise would have. Realistically, you aren't lowering your effective fee at all, unless that credit is specifically replacing a purchase that you already would have had to make. And since the credits on the Chase Sapphire Preferred and American Express Gold Card can be difficult to use, you are stuck with having to pay the $95 annual fee on the Sapphire Preferred and the $250 annual fee on the AMEX Gold Card. Alright, the next negative on the Chase Sapphire Preferred and American Express Gold Card is that the point multipliers aren't really that good, especially on the Sapphire Preferred. If we start with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Sapphire Preferred is going to get you point multipliers of 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 5x back on Lyft purchases, 3x back on online grocery store purchases, 3x back on dining, 3x back on select streaming services, 2x back on all other travel, and then 1x back on everything else. So to speak on those point multipliers, most people will probably not spend that much money at all on Lyft purchases or for online grocery stores, and you might have some expenses for select streaming services, but very likely that probably won't add up to a significant amount of spending. So that leaves us with the most useful point multipliers being that 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 3x back on dining, and 2x back on all other travel. That 2x back on all other travel multiplier is really only going to be useful if you utilize another travel booking platform like Airbnb, because otherwise you could get a much higher multiplier than 2% back if you're willing to book travel through a travel portal for specific travel purchases like flights, hotels, and car rentals. And that's because there are a lot of other credit cards out there, like the Sapphire Reserve or Capital One Venture X, that will give you really high multipliers when you book travel through their travel portals. So then we are left with the 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal and the 3x back on dining as the best point multipliers on the Sapphire Preferred, which are some pretty good point multipliers. But you are going to get both that 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal and that 3x back on dining with the Chase Freedom Flex and the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which both do not have annual fees. So that makes these specific point multipliers on the Chase Sapphire Preferred worth less because the Sapphire Preferred has that annual fee of $95, but you could get those same multipliers on cards that do not have annual fees. Let's be honest, I can't really rip on the point multipliers for the American Express Gold Card because that card does have some really good point multipliers, and that card can be your daily driver in that grocery store and dining categories. But one point multiplier that is lacking on both the AMEX Gold Card and the Chase Sapphire Preferred is any elevated multiplier for gas station purchases, because for a lot of people, myself included, gas station purchases are one of your highest spending categories. Okay, the next reason that I made the difficult decision to cancel both my American Express Gold Card and Chase Sapphire Preferred is because there are other credit cards that are simply better. For instance, the Chase Freedom Flex gets point multipliers of 5x back on rotating quarterly categories, 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 3x back on dining, 3x back on drugstores, and then 1x back on everything else. Whereas the Chase Freedom Unlimited gets point multipliers of 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 3x back on dining, 3x back on drugstores, and then 1.5x back on everything else. So I think especially when you consider the 5x back on rotating quarterly categories with the Freedom Flex, and then the 1.5x back on all purchases with the Freedom Unlimited, the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited have overall better point multipliers than the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Plus, if you didn't care as much about the point multipliers, but you wanted some added luxury travel benefits, then the Sapphire Reserve is going to be a better card than the Sapphire Preferred. And I actually did just make a full video going over 10 benefits that you need to take advantage of on your Chase Sapphire Reserve. So I'll put that up on the screen right now and go watch that video when you're done watching this one. Next up, the AMEX Gold Card can be a great card, but one of the reasons that I decided to cancel my American Express Gold Card is because there is another credit card that gets a lot of similar benefits to the AMEX Gold Card that does not have an annual fee. That card is going to be the Capital One Saver One, which does not have an annual fee, but gets a lot of the same benefits for dining and grocery stores, as the Capital One Saver One is going to give you point multipliers of 10x back on Uber and Uber Eats, 3x back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and grocery stores, and then 1x back on everything else. So the plan here is to cancel my American Express Gold Card and then replace it by getting the Capital One Saver One. Finally, the last reason that I made the decision to cancel my American Express Gold Card and Chase Sapphire Preferred is because I'm shifting up my credit card strategy to focus on cash back instead of travel. Basically, both the American Express Gold Card and Chase Sapphire Preferred are going to earn flexible points currencies of American Express points and Chase points, which can increase the value of your credit card points if you use your credit card points to book for travel. But the problem is both the AMEX Gold Card and the Sapphire Preferred are not necessarily positioned to be good cash back cards. And like I said, I'm refocusing my credit card strategy to be focused on cash back. To start with the AMEX Gold Card, you are going to earn those flexible American Express points, but if you wanted to redeem your American Express points for cash back, then you're only going to get 0.6 cents per point, which is really low, and so it's not going to be in your best interest to redeem your Amex points for cash back. Also, the main benefits on the Chase Sapphire Preferred are going to be travel-related benefits of getting 25% more redemption value for booking travel through the Chase portal, and then being able to transfer your points out to Chase's travel partners. But again, I don't really care about that because I'm shifting around my credit card strategy to be focused on cash back instead of travel. With all that being said, I did just want to remind you of what day it is today, because it is April 1st, so it's April Fool's Day, so everything I just said was pretty much BS. Before you click away from this video, let me give you a quick recap of those negative reasons, why they aren't true, and then why the AMEX Gold Card and Chase Sapphire Preferred are undeniably essential to my credit card setup. The first negative reason that I gave is that it can be hard to use the credits on the AMEX Gold Card and Chase Sapphire Preferred. In my case, I'm pretty easily able to use that $50 hotel credit on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and that's because I travel a couple times a year, and I don't mind having to use the Chase travel portal to book one night of a hotel stay. And then for the AMEX Gold Card, even before I got this card, I was already using food delivery services a couple times a month, and so I'm able to use the full value for those $240 in value from the credits, which is able to lower my effective fee on my AMEX Gold Card down to just $10. Next up, to address the point multipliers, it is somewhat true that the Chase Sapphire Preferred doesn't have the best point multipliers, but you get the Sapphire Preferred for the travel benefits, not the point multipliers. And then the AMEX Gold Card probably has the best point multipliers out of any credit card that is out there. Also, even though the Capital One Saver One is a great credit card, I don't think it even comes close to surpassing the AMEX Gold Card, and that's just because of all the point multipliers, credits, and travel benefits that you get on the AMEX Gold Card. Plus, I actually think that the Sapphire Preferred is a much better card than the Sapphire Reserve, and that's because I think the Sapphire Preferred is the perfect middle ground card for giving you those additional travel benefits, but not charging you that insanely high annual fee that you'll get charged on the Sapphire Reserve. Finally, I love travel. It's one of my favorite things in life to travel to new places, meet new people, and experience different cultures. So I'll always be someone that focuses on the travel aspect of credit cards by increasing my redemption value upside and redeeming my credit card points for as much travel as possible. And the AMEX Gold Card is essential to my credit card setup because it's my daily driver for those point multipliers of grocery stores and dining, and then it also has the added benefit of those credits as well. Plus, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is essential to my credit card setup because it increases the value of my Chase points, and it gives me the ability to transfer out my points to Chase's travel partners, which is the best way to increase my redemption value upside. So if you want to see the Chase Sapphire Preferred in action as the centerpiece of the best credit card setup, then check out this video next. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Happy April Fool's Day, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.